Matter changes state. Walking on water is impossible, right? If you have ever skated on ice, though, you have almost done just that. What state is the water in the photo of the ice skaters? You can find water in all three states in your kitchen. You can even change it from one state to another. Changes of state can happen when the temperature changes.
Freezing and melting. Ice forms when water freezes. Freezing is the change from a liquid to a solid. Freezing happens at low temperatures. It happens when water cools to its freezing point, which is 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Melting is the opposite of freezing. Melting is the change from a solid to a liquid. When the temperature rises above 0 degrees Celsius, ice changes to water. Other substances melt too. If you have ever heated butter in a pan on the stove, you've probably seen a solid melt.
Okay, it's like if we look outside right now and we go outside and we make a big snowball, if we keep it outside right now, it's going to stay a solid. It's going to stay a snowball, okay? But when we bring it inside, what do you think is going to happen to it? Yep, it's going to melt, isn't it? You can try that if you want to. Go outside, get a big snowball put together. Now, don't throw it at anybody. Get a snowball if you want to. Put a snowball together and bring it inside and let it sit and see how long it takes to melt. That is water changing states.
Evaporation. On a humid day, the air feels wet. You cannot see it, but there is water in the air. Water that is a gas is called water vapor. It gets in the air through evaporation. Evaporation is the process in which water changes from a liquid to a gas. Evaporation can take place at many temperatures. It takes heat energy to cause evaporation, though.
Okay, now, if you left that same snow and it's melted, okay, it's changed from a solid to a liquid because of the heat, because we brought it in where it is warmer, it's become a liquid. What do you think happens if you leave it out? It doesn't just disappear. It evaporates into the air, okay? Now, have you ever walked along after a rain and it's really, really warm out and you've kind of seen the pavement? You've seen like a mist above the pavement because that is the water vapor. It's evaporating into the air. That's the change going from liquid to a water vapor to a gas. All right, let's see another one.
Boiling. Look at the pot of water boiling on the stove. What do you observe? You probably notice that bubbles that show that water is changing from a liquid to a gas. Water makes this change from a liquid to a gas at 100 degrees Celsius, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That temperature is the boiling point of water. Other liquids have different boiling points.
Okay, so that's important. What is the boiling point of water? Yep, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius. When does water freeze? 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius.
Condensation. See the white, fluffy clouds in the photograph? How did they form? Clouds form because of water. Air contains invisible water in the form of a gas called water vapor. The air high in the sky is cool. As the air cools, tiny drops of water form. Condensation is the change from a gas to a liquid. When water condenses high in the air, it sticks to pieces of dust and floats in the air. When those pieces of dust covered with water come together, they make a cloud you can see.
Okay, so now we are going from a water vapor, and when it cools, it's going back to a liquid. That's called condensation.
Condensation doesn't happen only high in the air. On the ground, dew can form on grass or flowers. Dew forms when water vapor in the air condenses. If you have a glass of cold lemonade on a warm day, you may notice drops of water on the glass. The drops of water are condensation. The warmer air causes the water vapor in the air to condense on the cold drinking glass.
Okay, when I was younger, I always thought that when I picked up a glass on a hot day and it had all that water around it, all those droplets on it, I always thought it just came from the glass, from inside the glass, the water inside of it. That's not true. What it is that your glass that has ice in it, the air around it is cooler. So it's taking that water vapor around it and it's cooling it and it's making it a liquid. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Measure temperature. You already know that water changes state when the temperature changes, but how can you measure the temperature? You can use a special tool, a thermometer, to measure the temperature. Look at the thermometer floating in the pool. The thermometer measures the temperature of liquid water. You could read the thermometer to find out if the water is warm enough for swimming.
So that is the tool. We have many different tools we use this year in third grade. We have clocks, we have rulers, but this is a special one that we use to measure temperature, okay?
You can measure the temperature of solids too. Meat is a solid. Cooks use thermometers to help them decide when meat is finished cooking. When the meat reaches the correct temperature, the cook knows that it is safe for people to eat.
Okay, here's an experiment if you would like to do it. Okay, that is a fun one. Look at the oil, corn syrup, and water. Describe them. How are they same? How are they different? Put a thermometer in each cup. What is the temperature of each liquid? Another thing that might be fun is to put all three into your freezer and to see which one would freeze first, which one would become a solid. Let me know if you do those.